Hello YouTube, it's Sonja here with Hobbies Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another comic book video. We're going to be doing a review for 3 different stories that are basically in the same kind of vein, and we're going to be looking at these fairy tale stories by Dynamite. So first we're going to look at Red Sonja fairy tales, then we're going to look at Vampirella fairy tales, and then we're going to look at Dejah Thoris fairy tales. Now, more or less you can kind of tell which one is which. So Red Sonja is Jack and the Beanstalk. This one is Little Red Riding Hood, and this one is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, yeah, let me go through each of them. So, the Red Sonja one is written by Jordan Clark with art by Andres Labrada, who did a great job. I actually really like how the art style looks in this, even if it's kind of simplistic sometimes, but the styling of the character was very much in line with what I like. And the colors were by Kike J. Diaz. And the premise is basically that Red Sonja, as she is wont to do in all of these small little short stories, is walking around the forest where she finds someone in need, usually a woman. In this case, it's also a woman. And she ends up taking her back to her town, escorting her back to her town, and realizes that there's something wrong and that there's this giant beanstalk at the center of town. And it turns out that this woman is actually supposed to be a sacrifice for Jack, the giant man that lives at the top of the stalk. And yeah, that's basically it. She goes up there, she fixes the situation, and then people dislike her for it, but they're going to be better off at the end. This is also not my favorite cover, but the art style inside is actually quite great. I think the art for this was made by Sue Lee. I think that's the person that did the covers, but I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly. So yeah, classic Red Sonja short story. Walks in, sees a wild situation, fixes it up, and she moves on with her life. It was pretty enjoyable. I actually quite enjoyed this. I liked it. I thought it was fun. It was a nice combination of things, right? I really enjoyed this idea. It could have gone on for longer, actually. I would have really liked it if it was like, you know, a 4-issue, 5-issue series. But as a kind of just generic, like, hey, what if we make our big heroines have a fairy tale story? This one was pretty good. I think it worked well. And yeah, the art style, like I said, I liked it. It's kind of, I want to call it manga-esque, but it's not really manga-esque. It's more like webtoon-esque, if that makes sense. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good overall. I really enjoyed it. I definitely feel that I got my money's worth with this $5 for this story. The same can't be said for the next one, which is Vampirella. And so this one is written by Sue Lee, who did not do this cover, if I remember correctly. Maybe they did. I'm not sure. I can't remember. And the illustration inside the story are made by Emiliana Pina, and the art is colored in by Ellie Wright. I think. Yeah, let me double check that. Yeah, the illustrator is Emiliana Pina, and the colorist is Ellie Wright. And yeah, this one is basically Vampirella in the forest hunting down the wolfman or a werewolf of some kind. And I did not really enjoy this one. I feel like it wasn't very substantial because it was mostly just a bunch of these 4-coma style panels with no text or very little text. And just seeing very small snippets of information as she kind of goes through the forest. Could it have been any better? Not really, because realistically, the Little Red Riding Hood story is more or less just this. But they could have either picked a different story, like a Hansel and Gretel type story, or they could have just made it a little bit more compelling, a little bit more interesting by having her have a companion of some sort, something to kind of bounce off, or to have the Wolfman character be more important, because it was very not important at all. And I feel like it was really boring, but I bought it because I needed the set. And now that I have the set, I think it's fine. I'll keep it, but I didn't really love it. And I really wish I could have gotten at least a better cover, now that I know that I didn't like the story, because there were some really great covers for this series, or for this issue, but I didn't get them because I thought I was going to like the story well enough. but I didn't really end up liking it. So I kind of wish that it could have had some value added from getting a better cover, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's Vampirella. And then the last one is Dejah Thoris, or yeah, I don't know how to say her name. I've never actually had to say it IRL. But this is the princess from The Princess of Mars from the John Carter series. This is the damsel in distress is actually a badass, kind of very similar to Leia. And yeah, this is written by Ron Mars and illustrated by Andres Labrada, who did a very good job. I think I like this version of his art better than the one from Red Sonja, and with color by Ellie Wright again. So yeah, it seems like the same, like a small group of people all kind of worked on this together, and I think it worked well. And I think this one was the best out of all of them. So Dejah Thoris is hot, and her stepmother is also hot, but her stepmother is an older woman and is jealous of the beauty that this young Dejah Thoris has. And so she gets her to leave, and then she gets a guardsman to kill her. However, this guardsman can't actually get himself to kill her, so he just leaves her in the desert. Eventually, she actually meets up with 7 outlaw or outcast Tarks, which are the 7 dwarf equivalent. And she and the Tarks live together for a while. They go raiding and pillaging throughout all of Barsoom, and eventually her stepmother realizes that she's not dead, and they have a confrontation at the end of the story, after John Carter comes up to kiss her and break the spell that was cast on her. So overall, I thought this was the best adaptation of the fairy tale to something different. It's also because I feel like this fairy tale has a lot more going for it than the other two. Like the Jack and the Beanstalk story doesn't really matter all that much to Red Sonja specifically, and Red Sonja could have been like better utilized as a princess that has to do something, like was in this case, compared to how she was used, where she was just like a hero character that was going through the motions of being the hero. And it was definitely way better than the Vampirella one. So yeah, I think that the way they adapted the original fairy tale to Dejah Thoris's story and her character and the setting of Barsoom worked really well. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a little bit more substantial than the other two. There was actually an antagonistic character that was important, that it made sense that they were antagonistic and all this type of stuff. That is generally good for good storytelling. This was probably the best one out of the 3. And again, I would have really liked to see this be a 5-issue series. I would have really enjoyed to just have a lot of fun with Dejah Thoris as the Snow White character. So that's all there is to it. Let me show you a little bit of the artwork so you guys kind of know. This was a good opening for the artwork. Let's see, and then anything else that's good. There you go. And yeah, can't really think of, off the top of my head, of any other fairy tale stories that could have worked for Vampirella and Red Sonja beyond the 2 that were already picked. I guess you could say Vampirella could have done a Beauty and the Beast type story. Or Red Sonja could have done that too, actually. I'm not sure, because I don't know if Vampirella and Red Sonja have like a meaningful male character in their lives, in their repertoire, but that might have worked. Red Sonja versus like Maleficent, like some sort of Maleficent character from Sleeping Beauty might have worked well as well. What else? I can't think of anything else. Do I just not know Grimm fairy tale princesses? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they did pick the best ones, but they just didn't do a great job adapting them for the specific characters. I think Dejah Thoris was the best one. And overall, I had a fun time with these. I really enjoyed Red Sonja and Dejah Thoris. Vampirella was kind of bad. And I'm kind of getting to the point where I just realized that Vampirella stories are really not for me. The way that they focus on things isn't really working, in my opinion. And so I probably won't buy any more Vampirella stuff unless it has anything to do with Dejah Thoris or Red Sonja. So it is what it is. That's all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.